From Andrew Tate on X, breaking news. The Bucharest Tribunal Court has just ruled to return my $40 million of assets due to a lack of evidence. All my supercars, gold bars, $3 million in cash, everything. Now, I know that sort of middle-aged, conservative-leaning blokes have got no real interest in the lifestyles of people like the Tate brothers, because, frankly, when you're a 40-something married man, you know, you're far more interested in washing pots or digging the garden than you are in gold bars and supercars. But the story itself is interesting, and it's worth looking into for many, many reasons, the most glaring of which being the staggering, unending hypocrisy and corruption of the woke, globalist sociopaths that are running the world these days. And the Tate brothers are a good example, because the second a single young lass came out and said, "These boys have been abusing me," everybody piled on the bandwagon. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Guilty until proven innocent is apparently the way it goes if they disagree with your politics. However, when Hugh, we all know who I'm talking about, I can't show you the pictures because obviously I'd get unceremoniously thrown off the platform. When Hugh was pictured with his finger in his mouth, with some sort of pervy, creepy look on his face, showing the world his ring piece, everybody was quick to say, he hasn't done anything wrong. What are you talking about? And then we find out he's a full-on diddler, and he's been making images that would make Gary Glitter blush. Weird that, isn't it? Weird. Weird how it works. Guilty until proved innocent if you disagree with woke politics. Innocent until proven guilty, even though the Bootnecks just had to bleach his eyeballs because he's had a look at your ring piece. Definitely hasn't done a thing wrong. My lord. Honest as the day is long. Cheers then, lads. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, so there's many interesting things about this story. It's a great textbook case, summing up neatly all of the crazy, manipulative behaviours that the woke sociopaths engage in to create this narrative and destroy their enemies, just like they did with Donald. As we've all talked about many times, there are at least 24 very big, major hoaxes that have become widely accepted by the normies who don't pay much attention to alternative media. Things like the very fine people hoax didn't happen, never said it. Didn't encourage his supporters to riot, told them the exact opposite, told them to be peaceful, specifically mentioned on numerous occasions that his side of the aisle are peaceful, they respect law enforcement, invited hundreds of young black entrepreneurs to the White House and told them, "I'm your man, I'm looking out for you guys," and yet the entire world thinks that he promoted violence, is a full-blown racist, literally went on television and praised the Kilo organisation that probably has about 14 members in the entire world. You all know what I'm talking about. And this case sums up all of those bizarre behaviours in a nice, neat package for us to go through. Exhibit A, after reading Mr. Tate's tweet, I went on Google to get some real news about the story, and what was I faced with? When you go onto Google and you type in Tate assets, the top AI overview says, yeah, the Romanians have took all of the things off them because, yeah, they're basically evil. The second excerpt says, yeah, January 23, seized all their assets. Criminal investigation. You have to go down 4 or 5 to get to this one. Tate gets his luxury cars back. Even that is proof of what goes on. When there's an allegation, a simple allegation, it could be one person. They can quote mine something you said, leave out the first 30 seconds of your statement, leave out the last 30 seconds of your statement, just clip 3 seconds of something where they decide that you've dug your heels in against woke orthodoxy, and that will be headline news, front page of the BBC, all over LBC and The Guardian and the radio and the television and Sky News and Channel 4 for a week with allegations, slander, libel, blatant lies. That's what they do. And then when you prove yourself to be innocent of whatever scurrilous charge they've just dreamt up, where did they print the retractions? When did they talk about the fact that you didn't do anything wrong? Oh, well, you might get that nestled in the bottom corner of page 37 on The Guardian. And it's page 37 of The Guardian. You're more likely to want to read some of the documents on the aforementioned Gary Glitter's hard drive than you are to read that. Nobody's going to see it. And that's part of this process that they embark upon to ruin people, to discredit people. They've done it with Trump, they've done it with Musk, they've done it to Tate, and they'll do it to you. Every year they do it to thousands of normies that you never even hear about. The people that get locked up routinely for tweeting or being impolite. But weirdly, Abu Hamza didn't get locked up for 10 years when he was taking to the streets and glorifying the butchery of innocent people who merely disagree with his religious ideology. Seems like these type of laws only work one way. Again, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway, I managed to find one story about it. Let's see what they have to say, shall we? The Romanian court has ruled that Andrew Tate is to get back his luxury cars. Internet personality Andrew Tate should get back luxury cars worth about €4 million that were seized by prosecutors pending a second criminal investigation into human trafficking accusations. A Romanian court ruled on Tuesday. Tate was placed under house arrest in August pending a second investigation on accusations of forming an organised criminal group, human trafficking, trafficking of minors, sexual intercourse with a minor and money laundering. Prosecutors are also investigating his brother Tristan and 4 other suspects who are under judicial control, a lighter preventive measure than Tate's house detention. All have denied wrongdoing. The Tate's defence lawyer Eugen Vidiniak welcomed the ruling, saying in a statement it could not have been different considering the details of the case. A self-described misogynist, social media influencer, Tate has gained millions of fans by promoting an ultra-masculine lifestyle that critics say denigrates women. Now, I'm not going to bore my viewers by going into great detail about the things that he says. Suffice it to say, it's not really of very much interest to people over the age of about 30, who are usually in settled relationships. The point I would simply make is that, as usual, the opposite opinions of the Tate brothers are widely and loudly shouted about and parroted, and nobody gets in any trouble. The overt misandry from some of these female influencers who just go online and spew hatred about all men all the time doesn't just not get any condemnation, and it certainly doesn't result in a lawsuit, but it gets praised all the time. You go, girlfriend. The famous case I remember of this was when Sharon Osbourne on The View, well, she said this.
According to the Orange County DA's office, Catherine Q. Becker is accused of cutting off her husband's penis with a knife, taking his penis and throwing it into the garbage disposal. Police say Becker attacked him because he filed for divorce. She's being held. She goes, that'll teach him.
I mean, I don't know the circumstances. I don't know why he filed for divorce. I don't know what was going on between them. However, I do think it's quite fabulous. I mean, can you just imagine that thing whizzing around the disposal? It's like hysterical.
Fabulous and hysterical. Imagine a chat show where there's 5 blokes sat around a table and one of them goes, yeah, well, lass wouldn't give us a chew last night, so I broke a jaw. And all the blokes around the table going, ha ha ha. I do think it's hysterical. Imagine all those teeth on the floor. Yeah, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? No, it wouldn't. But it's all right when they do it, because they've got the right opinions. That's how it works. They're good people that promote butchery or mass murder in the case of Abu and his mates. And you're a bad person for disagreeing with them politely. Fantastic. So to sum up, if I can, because as I said, the story doesn't interest a man of my age and boring proclivities. The Tates have filled a niche. Young men are clamouring for father figures, for life advice from older blokes, because we've promoted women being yo-yo knickered slappers and knocking out kids before they get married or even have a boyfriend for so long that we've got an entire generation of emasculated, sparrow-boned soy boys that don't know the first thing about anything, let alone being a responsible man. So they turn to people like Tate, and he just says, yeah, treat women like slags, don't get tied down, don't get a girlfriend, look after yourself. It's a simplistic approach that I don't entirely agree with, but he's entitled to his opinion, and he's got an audience, and they like it, and let's be honest, a large amount of it they need to hear, because young lads do need a father figure, and they're not getting one. If it's alright for lasses to have The View and all these feminist influencers to endlessly peddle outright hatred for men, then, dare I suggest, it's alright for blokes to do the exact same thing. The judicial system is massively corrupt, and everybody with a room temperature IQ and above can see it for what it is. It's a political game, as usual. And the whole idea, this thing that somehow became a mantra, believe all women. The Despot of Antrim did a fantastic video pulling that whole movement apart. It ruined hundreds of thousands of people's lives. It was like a modern day Salem witch trial. It was ludicrous. It was irrational. It made no sense. I will link it in the description. I highly recommend watching it. It's a great watch. But yeah, it's a farce. It's just rank hypocrisy, and everybody knows it. I think it was quite obvious from the beginning that it was trumped up charges, because at the end of the day, women, because I'm a feminist, you know, an old-fashioned one, who believes women should be allowed to do what they want, and they're just as capable as men in almost everything, except, you know, bench press. Well, then I'm fully aware that women are as capable of telling lies as men are, and therefore you always have to follow the evidence, not just chant a mantra and believe everything someone says because they happen to have a set of threepenny bits, even if it's some pissed slapper who's on CCTV following a footballer into his hotel room and even returning to the taxi because she forgot a pizza. And then 2 hours later, leaving the hotel room, going home, and then saying, oh yeah, he sexually assaulted me, yeah. I mean, I might have willingly given him a gobble in the bathroom of the nightclub and got in a taxi with him, and then went back to the taxi after being in his room to get me pizza, and then spent the night with him. But at some point in a 35-second period, he definitely sexually assaulted me. And therefore the man's guilty, and he gets found guilty. That is another case that's quite famous. That was Ched Evans, if you don't remember that story, because you're not as sad as me and you don't spend all day reading the newspapers. Anyway, that's the video done. I'm not an expert on the Tate brothers, so if you have something to add in the comments, please let me know down there. But that's my piece for the day. I hope you're all doing all right, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks for tuning in. Toodle pip. Cheers.